Right, this is a quick vid I'm making mostly for Paul Buzz. He's asking about using power heads as a diffuser for CO2. So this is my tank. If I get a little closer, I don't know if you can see, you should be able to see all the lovely little bubbles of CO2 in there. Now they're coming from down behind here is my power head behind the stellata. You can just about make it out. There's a tiny little power head on a little double sponge filter, but it is hidden quite well. So that's jetting out through that little nozzle. Where's my finger? There it is. Little nozzle just sort of there. Yeah, so that's jetting out. The bubbles come out to about here and sort of rise up to the surface sort of about this point. But then there's my big filter at the back. Out the way, Steve, you little bugger, getting in the camera. So there's my big filter at the back, and I've got a little spray bar up there, which is, spraying the water that way. So as the bubbles rise up, they get to about this point, and then they get blown down all over, so you can see them getting distributed nicely around the tank. So so that's working really quite nicely. Yeah, that's Steve. His missus is around somewhere, Sandra. I don't know where she is. Oh, she's back there. Hello, Sandra. She's getting quite fat. But yeah, that's pretty much my tank. Oh, there's a little squiggly down there. Just having a nap like they do, mad little buggers. I'm now going to hit pause and get this power head out and show Paul exactly what I mean with it. So hang on a second. Alright, so there we are. That's the power head on the filter. It's just basically a cheapy 199, 197, whatever it is, filter from China. Supposed to have a little nozzle on here with an outlet, and this is the air inlet, so that's just a double standard sponge filter. But I've modified it by tying this power head on. This power head came off a tiny little internal filter that come with some tank somewhere, or I don't know. It's only a stupid little small thing with a tiny sponge, hardly seemed worthwhile, but it's ideal for this. I did have to sort of bodge the joint a little bit with the cable ties on there. I tried gluing it at one point, but the glue just came off. This wasn't very good at all. So this black thing, I'm not sure what that is, where that came from. I don't know, some hose pipe connector or something or other, just something I had lying around. But I mean, it could be made from anything really. This is just sort of standard PVC tubing from somewhere. You can sort of get that to fit, glue it on, tape it on, whatever, just onto the inlet of the power head. Yeah, and that plugs in there. That plugs onto the aquarium wall on the inside, like that, and it squirts the CO2. Obviously the CO2 goes in there. That comes straight from the, oh Christ, just drop a light. Hang on. There we are. Yeah, light bulb in here is blown, so that I'm using one of my LED spotlights from my tank. So yeah, there's my bubble counter basically from the CO2, which I've got a big ass bottle of down there. Bubble counter, cheat comes out into the filter, gets nicely mashed up into the water, and then that's it, job done. I think this is John. If you see this video, I'll tag you in it. I'm guessing kind of that's what you mean by a ripple without a splash. That's kind of the effect I'm looking for. And I know Paul, and John, myself and I, talked about perlite, using perlite in your tank at some point. That's perlite. It's a pain in the arse. Every time I move stuff out, I've got the perlite mixed in with my substrate, and every time I move stuff around or plant something new or pull something out, a bit of perlite gets released and it floats to the surface. All the other stuff, the compost and dirt, that sinks nicely and there's no bother, it goes where you want it. But the perlite, no, it floats, and I have to scoop it out periodically. Getting nicely mashed up with my Rickia mat there, so yeah, job done. While I've got it here, this is yeah, this is going to be my next escape dragon mount. Some lava rock there at the bottom. I'm still not sure how I'm going to have the two pieces of dragon stone. We shall see. We shall see. I don't know. I'll have a play around with it tomorrow probably. I've glued some fitted ends. That's all the fitted ends, Phoenix moss I had from various different sources. Just a few little scraps here and there glued to that piece. That's going into the main tank eventually. My moss tree, which I made ages ago, but I've had to redo it because the moss had become straggly, so I put weeping moss on it this time instead of the Java. So hoping that does well and see what comes out of that. But yeah, that's about it. See you later, peeps.